Welcome to Babonga's channel. Polymer clay BJD, hands and feet. I'm starting with making 4 twisted wire loops as supports for the hands and the feet of my doll. 2 for the hands and 2 more for the feet. The hand loops have to fit inside the forearms. Then I'm making 2 little balls that I turn into beads. I make one of these for each hand. Now for the feet. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing. First check and then making 2 little beads of polymer clay. These have to go into the oven, and this is the first thing to start. And I will start with the hands. After threading the bead to the wire loop, I'm using liquid polymer clay, and then I build on that as a base, making a rough shape of a palm without the fingers. It doesn't take too much time to do that for both hands. I added a little bit of anatomy. I'm gonna work on the sides and inner side of palm, also on the angles depending on which hand it is, and then bake. This is a necessary base for the fingers, but first I have to cut them. I'm not making them too long because I'm afraid of breaking. Now I make them a little pointy, and using liquid polymer clay I start to place them and to work so they stick there in their right positions. It's not very easy for me because the clay is soft and the pieces are small and easily distorted. The raw clay sticks easily to the baked base, but then I find it a little difficult to work, especially on the tips of the fingers. But in any case, eventually it will be done the best way I can. And of course, there are tools like this toothpick that can help me do it. The thumb will be added after I finish with the 4 fingers and the spaces between them and the anatomy of the inside and outside of palm. I also think of the pose of the fingers, and I think it's okay to be slightly bent forward. Now about the thumb, I'm using again liquid polymer clay, and then I'm placing the thumb where it should be. The thumb has to be neither too thick or too thin, and it must be in the right position and angle in relation to the other fingers and the palm generally. So I made the left hand, I'm gonna do the right and then bake. Now for the feet, again I need to create a rough base, so I thread the bead and then build on this bent part of the wire. I want to envelope the wire and stick the raw clay on the baked bead. After I make 2 rough feet shapes, I bake. And after I have these 2 bases, I can do the toes. And this is how I do it. After adding liquid polymer clay, I'm just adding a little bit of polymer clay and start spreading it and make it stick there. And after this, I'm ready to cut and separate the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. and then fixing their lengths, their angles and the spaces between. Also, I may need to add some more flesh, that is clay, at the top of the foot. Generally, to my opinion, I think that feet are easier than hands, and in any case, if I make mistakes, I can always correct after baking them with my cutter. And if I need to add something, I can add and rebake. And of course, now I have to do the other foot and bake. And here they are. They look pretty good, but they can be improved immensely if I trim some of the imperfections, especially at the tops where they are too thick, and then sand to make them smooth. And here we are.